We're here to talk to you about something very special. Southwest Ireland. We're talking Ballybunion, Tralee, Doonbeg, some of the biggest hitters in the world of golf. And I am joined today by some pretty big hitters as well. So if everyone would like to just introduce themselves.
Chris Alexander, playoff 5, bit of a nomadic golfer.
I'm Charlie Corner, I play off 8 and I'm currently a member at Hindhead Golf Club.
And I'm Oliver, I work in the marketing team and I'm a member at Kingswood Golf Club, play off a handicap of 2. So now we've got our introductions done, we're going to head out just with the big question, the most important question. What for you, Chris, was the best golf course that you played?
To be honest, as good as all 3 were, my favourite was Tralee, especially the front 9. It was just stunning. Picturesque views everywhere you look. Although the other 2 came pretty close, my vote would be with Tralee.
It's a pretty good choice, and if you can remember that second hole, which goes round the bay, it's absolutely incredible.
Par 5.
Yeah, well, your tee shot was pretty good there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Almost took out the drone.
Yeah. We're kind of experts in that field, so yeah, you're very accurate. It came within just a whisker of clipping out the drone, which was pretty good. But yeah, I have to say, Tralee was just incredible. Like every single hole just seemed to get better and better. I was surprised you're saying that you thought the front 9 was the best, because I can just think of countless holes on the back 9 that are up there with the best ever played.
You're clutching at straws between the best 9 and the best course. They were all great.
Yeah, just amazing place to go and play golf. I think we were pretty lucky for our 2 days out of the office to go and play them. What about you, Charlie? What was the best course for you?
I say it's sort of similar to Chris there. I thought obviously 2 fantastic golf courses, probably the top 2 best I've played. So it is clutching at straws to find what's the better of the 2. But I think that, like I said with Chris, that front 9 at Tralee is just, I thought it was just next level, really. I mean, obviously Ballybunion as well, having the list of names that have played there as well, and the views around there are just incredible as well. So, but yeah, I think the front 9 at Tralee was my favourite as well, especially that 3rd hole as well down there, the one after the dogleg par 5. Just see on the right, you've got the small old building behind the green as well. I just thought that was absolutely stunning. We had some spectators as well, didn't we, on the 3rd tee as well, just in the water there.
Yeah, I went slightly off piece in my tee shot, but it's interesting you both picked one of the holes that you both hit it in close at. So no real surprise there. I opted for the slightly sea-bound route by hitting it out to the right. So definitely don't do that when you go and play there. But I have to say, so we've got 2 votes for Tralee. I'm actually going to pick Ballybunion. Mm-hmm. That might well have been because Keith and I won round there. So that's obviously a good place good place for remembering around a golf. But I just feel I really like sort of classic links. So some of my favourite courses would be like a Royal St George's or a Muirfield. Anything that is traditional links, something that has been there for centuries, and it feels really natural for it to be there. And I do feel that a lot of people think of Ballybunion, the first 6 holes are quite tame, but for me they're some of the most enjoyable. Mm-hmm. I think they're exactly as you see it. It's not fiddly. You know that if you hit it in a certain place, you're going to be in a good spot. And again, you sort of make that turn and you head back. So 7 just running all along that wild Atlantic way. It's just incredible. There's just so many amazing holes, and it really got better and better. 15, 16, 17, 18, probably amongst the best sort of closing stretch that you'll get to play anywhere. Again, just even that green complex, which is so elevated, and then it's just got that huge drop off on the left-hand side. You had a really tricky one. You were just in the long grass at the back there. There's that pot bunker. There's so much, it's devil in the detail. Just those small little bits that just make for such a memorable hole. I think it's just a really great spot. And even 18, which is relatively plain. It's not hugely visual, is it? You just got, again, you're going away from the sea up towards the clubhouse, and again, it sort of all filters into that. It's just an amazing place to play. It's something that I had high expectations on, but I really feel like it over-delivered. It's just an amazing place to go and play, and how fortunate were we to go and do it. Okay, so we kind of talked about the best there. If you could play only one course on your return, which one would it be? So obviously we've got a bit of a mixture there because we went to Doonbeg, Tralee, Ballybunion. So just kind of think about that. Which one would you, if you're just going to play one, you could only play one out of those three. Which one are you picking? Is that an impossible question? I don't know.
It's a very tough question. In all honesty, I'd probably play Ballybunion again, just because of how epic it was. You spoke about the dunes, and you've got some 50-foot plus high dunes. The layout of the course was just impeccable. Like you say, it's traditional links. It's almost just being fitted perfectly within the dunes. Doonbeg, you can tell, they've spent a lot of money, building the course and putting it in there. But it would be a very tough choice between the three. If I had to rank them, I'd go Ballybunion. Although I love Tralee, and I mentioned about the front line, I'd probably choose to play Doonbeg over that.
Yeah.
And then, closely behind Tralee, I think.
Yeah, I have to agree with Chris again on that one. I think that Ballybunion, you could play that course 100 times and not get bored. I think there's so many different, there's loads of different holes. Like I say, you're carving your way through the dunes, and I just think that there's so many different ways to play it. It's not a course that you can just rip driver off every hole at all, which I quite like. It's not, that's the beauty of links golf, really, especially when we played it was nice and firm in the side. It's definitely a summer course. I don't think you can even play it in the winter, but you wouldn't want to with the wind off that Atlantic coast there. But yeah, I think Ballybunion is it's unique as well. The whole experience as well, getting driven across from the main starter, even though the driving range is just over the road. You get sort of driven across there. The service is excellent there as well. You get caddy with you as well. It's they're helpful as well. I mean, you guys disagreed on the line he gave you, but I thought that for the most it was he was really, really helpful on that. He was a member there and he's played there for 30 years. The caddy we had, Brandon, on that. But I thought Ballybunion, I'll go back and play that again, because I think it's one of those. It was once in a lifetime really opportunity to play there. So to get to play there again, I think that. Yeah, you snap that up when you to play there again, 100%.
I think that's a really important thing. Actually, we wouldn't have ever I'd never really get a caddy. I've never actually had that many. But so it's 120 euros. That's obviously divided between the four of you. I just think that was incredibly good value. For what, again, the stories that he told us about the golf course, like the little bits and knowledge, it just all added to it. And he was incredibly kind at times, where he said that was some of the best shots he'd ever seen. I think he was after a tip, but that sort of thing was just, it really added to the experience. I would wholeheartedly recommend people getting a caddy when they play there, and that's actually the norm in Ballybunion. You have to have at least one caddy for the group, which I think is really good, because it speeds up play, and you means that what lines to hit off the tees, which, as I say, they're easy enough to see. It's not any blind shots there, really. It's as you see it. But there were a couple of times where he sort of took us off to a different tee so we could see the landing spot, which was super helpful, and something I'd hugely recommend. Just going back to the original question about the one course we go back and play, I actually would love to take some people to Tralee, because I think that's one that I've been really fortunate. I've played all over the world. I've played at Pebble Beach. I've done Cape Kidnappers and Carry Cliffs in New Zealand. And hugely impressive visual golf courses. Tralee is right up there, if not the best. I don't believe, even if you had the worst day on the golf course, pretty much as I did, to be fair, you are going to come away from there just with. I reckon I definitely took more photos and videos on the golf course than I took shots. It was just, there's so many incredible golf holes that, whether that's we're talking about the front nine. 2 and 3, probably some of the best holes that I've ever played visually. It's a lovely par 5 around the corner, and then you've got a really testing par 3. But that's only impacted. That's only sort of doubled again, because we've then go onto the back 9, and we've got 16 and 17, which are again 2 incredible golf holes that you're not going to. In terms of that combo, that you're going to. I think they'll be right up there with anything you play, but. Tralee's a course that I've really stood out for me, and one that I'm definitely going to take some of my friends back to go and play, because I think it's not underrated. It's going to be ranked as in the top 20 in Ireland, but I think it's far better than that in terms of not just the difficulty of the golf course or anything else that you might challenge as to something else fitting into the top your top rankings, But in terms of visual and just fun, I think that's really, really hard to beat. Just obviously, like, you know, I've travelled a little bit to Ireland before, but you guys actually hadn't been to Ireland previously. So probably a great question to ask you guys. What was the most surprising thing about the trip to Ireland?
Well, if you're talking about golf in Ireland, generally the weather is one thing, and we were very lucky. It's obviously uncontrollable, but we were so lucky.
There's always sunshine on your golf travel holidays.
Yeah.
It's included with every trip.
We were blessed. But even though there were long drives in between the courses, it didn't feel like it was, you know, a mission to get from, you know, Cork all the way up to Doonbeg. You know, it is a 2.5 hour drive, but it is most definitely worth it. And then similarly, you know, coming back down all the way to Tralee and Ballybunion, it's about a half an hour drive in between the two of them, and it's definitely worth your while.
And the scenery on the drive, you know, I was the designated driver, so that's probably why you didn't think there was so long a drive, because such a careful, considerate driver. But the scenery is just incredible as well. Yeah. Like, you know, even the little ferry that we got on our way from Doonbeg down to Tralee, like, that's just huge fun, isn't it? It was just, you know, again, we've got obviously a huge amount of water on show, but also the mountains as a contrast. It was a lovely place to go and drive. It wasn't too busy either. There was plenty of space on the road.
Yeah, saves about an hour and a half drive as well. So definitely worth it.
I mean, for me, just it's the golf culture. It's just it's much more ingrained into the culture than I think it is over here. I think you guys both agree. Like, everyone just wants to chat your ear off about golf, which is, I mean, unique about it. I mean, like, and based on the golf courses that they've got, no wonder why they want to talk to you about it, because they are so good. Like, it's and there's, you know, there seems to be almost a golf course every couple of miles, even a couple of hundred yards. There's another golf course. So that was the thing that got me about Ireland. Just, you know, it's just golf crazy, golf mad, and no wonder, because the courses are so good. So, and, you know, it's a different kind of golf, like Chris was saying. You know, the views on each hole, you know, you think, can this get better? And it just does each time. It's one of them that, you know, like I said before, you know, once in a lifetime, you know, trip that I would love to do again. Whether I will or not, you know, is up for debate. But, you know, I couldn't recommend anyone, you know, not, you know, if you haven't been there, go there. It's just next level.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's like it's sometimes there might be a time where you might be a bit embarrassed to be a golfer. I certainly have had that at times in my life. But yeah, Ireland, you can be unashamedly golf. It's you know, especially that area. It's just such a big thing for that part of the world. And I think from my side, I was absolutely amazed by the condition of the courses. Obviously, I mean, Doonbeg, I'm not sure I've seen a higher level of greenkeeper on the golf course. The condition and the standards they're upholding there were just amazing. Like, you know, the fairways were as good as any you've ever seen. The greens were like lightning. I just think that there's so much care and attention into the course. The attention to detail there is really second to none. I kind of feel like that whole service offering that we had at those 3 golf courses was just, you know, another level. I know obviously they're a premium, but when you kind of look at how great the welcome was, and just really felt like everyone had gone out of their way, and, you know, we're just, you know, a normal group of golfers, much the same as the people in front and behind, but I really felt we got an amazing 5-star experience. I would, that's something that really, really stood out for me. That was something that was perhaps more surprising than I was expecting, just that level of hospitality that we got. So, sort of the next question I think I was gonna sort of look at for here is, obviously, like, we played it off the back tees. We're all single figure golfers, and that's sort of suited for us. But if you were going just as a mixed handicap of golfers, I was wondering if you could maybe just talk through, you know, the type of trip you'd recommend, or where you'd like to go, because obviously, you know, we've got friends who are just beginners. We've obviously got golfers who've played for years and years. But just wonder if you have that sort of mixed handicap idea, where would you like to go and take people?
Well, that's the thing. You really want to accommodate for all. Personally, as a group, if I was to go with my friends, I would base them in Killarney. It's
that looked great fun, didn't it? We didn't stay there. We just visited it, but that place was so busy.
I don't know how many bars and pubs there were within a 1 mile radius. So that would definitely be my recommendation. And then, as we found, it was only 1 hour drive up to Tralee and a little bit further up to Ballybunion. So even if you're just ticking off one of those courses, it's certainly worth your while.
And Killarney Golf and Fishing.
You beat me to it,
Sorry.
Ollie. You beat me to it. Killarney Golf and Fishing, they're blessed with 2 golf courses, Mahoney's Point and the championship course being Killeen Castle. We weren't able to play them, but definitely on my bucket list. And if I was going back there, I would stay in Killarney, play at least 1 round on site there, and then tick off, Tralee or Ballybunion, or make the long drive up to Doonbeg. It's certainly worth your while.
Yeah, we had Alan, who works for Premier Golf, which is our US company. He took us around Killarney and showed us all the different spots you got to go to. So if you need any help on Killarney, he's your man. He knew all the bars, all the secrets, everything you need to go and do. So, but yeah, Killarney was amazing. I could, we were there at 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was starting to get really busy, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it's probably easier to get a pint of Guinness in Killarney than it is to get a bottle of water. Definitely.
yeah, they were busy there. But what about you, Charlie? In terms of like the mixed handicap group, which one? Where are you going to take them?
I would say if it was so I've got some friends who, like I say, have just getting into golf sort of post-pandemic, just picked it up again. Clubs out the garage type thing. But yeah, they're getting into it, and I think that like I agree with Chris. I would either stay at Killarney or like just stay in the town, like we got shown around Byron. There, and then maybe play 1 round there, and then I would probably, for a mixed handicap group, I probably would stay clear of Ballybunion, just because it is, if you do miss it, that's your score gone. I think we had it a couple of times, when you fly the green and you're just in sort of waist high rough, and it's just like you might as well just pick up the ball at that stage. Whereas I thought Tralee was a little bit more forgiving off the tee, especially on the front 9. I thought you could miss it in more spots on that than at Ballybunion, but so I think I would probably. If for a mixed handicap group, go to Tralee first, and then maybe go to Ballybunion as well. But yeah, I think that Tralee is probably a little bit more forgiving for a mixed handicap. But if you're going away, if it's a single figure group, 5 or 6 for you, then you've definitely got to tick off Ballybunion as well. If you're over there, you might, it'd be silly not to. I think that Tralee for a mixed handicap group, which is a little bit more forgiving, and obviously the views and everything, you're going to get everything you want with Tralee as well. But yeah, no, definitely stay in Killarney for a good 100%.
Yeah, I think that's really important as well. Like you look at those links golf courses, and it looks like it's it's death if you miss the fairway. But they're all the rough actually isn't as tough as it looks, is it? They actually whilst it looks quite high, they've actually cut quite a little bit back. So it's not like you hit the ball in the rough, you're going to lose a ball. Like there's a good opportunity. You're going to be able to.
I just found the long stuff. That was all it was.
Yeah, definitely. Well, there is a lot of long stuff if you go wide. Charlie and I have got some pretty interesting shots of the driver in the locker. We've got fast and left and long and right. So we definitely got some distance between our original and the provisional. But I think it was pretty playable. Well, I'm gonna definitely agree with Killarney. That's like a bit of it's not a hidden spot. I think it's a hugely popular place for people to go, but it's somewhere that I would hugely recommend if you want great food, great we already touched on some of the bars and the pubs there. It was McSweeney, which was Alan's favourite. That's got the best pint in Killarney apparently. But just for a bit of difference, I just wanted to talk about Doonbeg and just like the whole of the resort that is there. The accommodation is amazing. It's really first class, especially if you're traveling as a group. So we were traveling as a 4. We got one of the rooms which is just opposite reception. It was a Norman suite designed by Greg Norman. Not the room, the golf course. It'd be interesting. He was moving into some interior design, but so what that had is when we walked in, that had like a really nice sort of living room area. And then a small kitchen with a coffee machine, which is really important for me. And then it had you guys were staying downstairs in that bedroom, and then there was another bedroom at the top. So kind of traveling as a 4, that was just like a really good spot because it meant that you had your own sort of personal. If you wanted to have a little sit back after your round of golf, you didn't necessarily have to go into the bar or anything like that. You can sit down in there, have a relax, talk about some of the shots you did and didn't hit. But then just going into the clubhouse, I just couldn't believe how well that had been done. It felt like you were going back to an old oak panelled clubhouse from you'd see it like the likes of Muirfield or any of those. I just think that they've done such an amazing job there, and we were so pleased. We arrived there really late. It's important that, you know, obviously we talk about that drive we did from Cork to Doonbeg. That is a long one, and that's not normally what people would do, is it? They'd normally go to Shannon and then go from there. But that's just the way it worked for us. And we're apprehensive. Thought, it's quite a long way to go on our first night, but so worth it when we got there. It was absolutely amazing. And that pint of Guinness, when we finally got there, the bar was still really busy. Guys in there having a lot of fun. And I just kind of think that sort of place for the resort links experience is really hard to beat. And then if you want to sort of head off into Lahinch, that's only about half an hour away. So that's a little bit further north. I just think that's a really good spot, and there's at least 5 tees, I think. Well, certainly at least 4 at Doonbeg. So again, if you've got that mixed handicap group, just pick a tee. Like, you don't have to play off the back one. So I think like it just makes it an awful lot easier. You're just going to be able to find that fairway, and it just makes it eminently playable for everyone. So obviously Killarney's going to get a big tick in the box for us, but I think and as it will do for a lot of people. But I'm going to put Doonbeg out there just as an alternative for that amazing links golf experience. But massive thanks for joining us today. If anyone is interested in a golf trip to Ireland, we've got hundreds of different packages, all fully customizable. So that's 1 night and 2 rounds in Dublin, we've got you sorted. Or, you know, you're looking for 7 nights in the southwest. Chris is your man. He's been there, he's done it, and he's drunk a pint of Guinness as well. So yeah, huge thanks for joining us. Check out the link in the description. That'll give you all the information you need to know about golf in Ireland. Subscribe to the Your Golf Travel channel. You won't get to see very much of Chris and Charlie and myself on the channel. You see a lot more of Leo and Ali, but do check it out. Plenty more golf videos on there. But thanks very much for joining us.